desire is made to quench a fire that's burning out of control. It's burning out of control.
Hey guys, this is Adam from Titan in the Deep, back again today with a new review of the Defense of the North Legendary Legions. Last month I got to do the Assault on Lothlorien. That was video number 1. Today we're going to be doing the Army of Dale. On to video number 2. And have a good time talking about this today. Would love to get your comments, all your thoughts and everything about it in the comment section below. Please let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe to the video if you enjoy it and you like the content. I plan on doing all 6 Legendary Legions. Again, this is the second video of 6 from the Defense of the North. Anyway, let's get right to it. This again is the Army of Dale. I've got a whole list of pros and cons. We're going to go over the army composition and how I think you can play this army, this Legendary Legion, effectively, and some of the issues that you might have with certain kinds of other armies that are in the current meta, at least in the U.S. and the places that I play, which we have a huge group in Nashville, Tennessee, and then I've played. We play against guys from Indiana and Arkansas, Kansas City, Georgia, just all over the place. Anyway, in the Midwest and Southeast. And then I've been playing with some guys a little bit in the Colorado area around Denver as well. Anyway, okay, so right to it. Let's just go ahead and start talking about this army. What's kind of cool about it is this is based on, well, the garrison of Dale. So it's not during the time of Girion, or I guess that's how you pronounce his name, Girion. This is during the War of the Ring, obviously because of the Defense of the North. So it's got some different rules. Girion obviously isn't available, but you do have Brand, King of Dale, and he is always the army's leader, and he has to be included in this Legendary Legion. He's 110 points, and if you aren't familiar with the profile for Brand, I'll just go over it real quick and kind of let you know what I think about him. He's one of the newer models that Games Workshop came out with recently. Again, Brand, King of Dale. He's a man. He is of Dale. He's infantry hero, and he's a hero of legend for 110 points. His stat line is move 6, fight 5. That's important. We'll get to that in a bit. His shoot value is 3+, strength 4, D7, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 5, 3 might, 3 will, just 1 fate. He has heavy armor, a sword, and a shield, and his heroic actions are resolve, strike, and strength. He also has a couple special rules. Number 1 is Lord of Dale. As a ruler of great integrity, Brand is loved by his people who will follow their liege into battle even when the war seems to go ill. So his standfast is 12 inches rather than 6, which again is significant with this army. Well, to a point. I'll explain more in a bit. And his other special rule is Stoic Fighter. At the start of the fight phase, at the start of a fight involving Brand, check to see if he would be trapped should his side lose the duel roll, with the exception if a friendly model can make way for Brand. If Brand would be trapped, he may re-roll a single D6 to win the duel roll, and a single D6 when rolling to wound. Again, his rule basically is if he is trapped and he can't have a friendly model back out of the way, then he gets to re-roll a single D6 in the duel roll and when making rolling to wound, which I think this is kind of cool because it looks like it can give you a second duel roll re-roll if you are next to a banner, which is kind of cool. So he could potentially get 2 re-rolls, which is kind of like Lord of the West. If you have like an Elven banner and Lord of the West around, you get both. You just can't re-roll a re-roll, you know. Anyway, so that's his stat line. It's actually pretty solid. So he is the leader of the army always. You also have access to Bard 2. He's the Prince of Dale. Again, he is not during Girion's age. This is again during the War of the North and the War of the Ring, or the Defense of the North, War of the Ring. And his stat line is pretty cool. Bard 2 is Prince of Dale. He's 100 points. He's man, Dale, infantry hero, and he's a hero of valor. So his dad, Brand, can lead 18 troops as a hero of legend, and he can lead 15 as a hero of valor. His stat line is move 6, fight 5, 3+ to hit with bows, throwing weapons, strength 4, D7, 3 attacks, 2 wounds, Courage 6, 3 might, 2 will, 2 fate. He has heavy armor, a spear, a sword, and a shield. He's got 2 weapons, which is pretty cool. He has heroic resolve, strike, and defense. And his special rule is just one of them, is Wall of Blades, which essentially gives him +1 to wound when making strikes with his spear against the model that's charged him this turn. I don't believe this works if he's in support. I think there's been a FAQ over that. I don't know. You guys might be able to correct me or something. Or when I'm editing, I'll see if I can find that specifically, because I haven't seen anything about that other than I've heard some people say that they don't get that bonus unless they are charged. So they don't get it if they're in support. Anyway, again, if anybody knows that for sure and they know where the FAQ's at or whatever, let me know. Anyway, so you have access to him as well, he's again a pretty good model. 100 points for a 3 might, 2 will, 2 fate model. His dad, Brand, also has 3 might. Both solid fighters. Both of them again 5/5. You also have Captains of Dale. They're only 50 points. I like these guys. This is actually a pretty solid captain. The captains are 50 points. Mandel, infantry hero, the heroes of fortitude. Move 6, 5/5, again, 4+ to hit. Strength 4, D5, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 4 courage, and then the 2/1/1 from basically every regular captain out there, all the generics. 2 might, 1 will, 1 fate. He has armor and a sword, and his heroic actions are march, just like basically every other captain. He also has access to Esgaroth bow, which is significant, and a shield. The cool thing about the Esgaroth bow is it's strength 3, and it has a range of 24 inches. No more of this little cheap man bow or goblin bow crap. Like, he actually can fire that sucker a long way, and he also has 4+ to hit, which again is pretty solid. Anyway, pretty solid model, pretty solid captain. I like them. Again, they're just 50 points, so that's a must include in a lot of games. We'll get to that again in a minute. So you have them, and then you have Knights of Dale, which a lot of you guys have already seen. They're the new models that Games Workshop brought out a while back. The Knights of Dale are just 11 points. They're really solid infantry. They're men, Dale infantry and warriors. Move 6, fight 4, 4+ to hit. Strength 3, D6, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 4. Now here's their war gear. Heavy armor, spear, sword, and shield. Again, 2 weapons, which is kind of cool, and it's significant to their special rules. Their special rules are Wall of Blades, just like with Bard 2, which says that this model gains a +1 to wound when making strikes with their spear against a model that charged them this turn. So again, pretty good warriors. And then you also have just the basic warriors of Dale. And the basic warriors of Dale they're basic warriors. They're not bad though. They're just 7 points. They're men, Dale infantry and warriors. Move 6, fight 4. Again, all of Dale's warriors are pretty solid fighters. So fight 4, you're going to outfight, Rohirrim, a lot of other stuff that's out there. All your basic Minas Tirith warriors, all your orcs except for your Uruk-hai. You're going to outfight them, pretty much all of them. Your Iron Hills dwarves, you'll be even with, but a lot of them are, that's pretty cool. Fight 4 is not bad for just basic 7-point warriors. So they're fight 4, 4+ to shoot or to hit. Sorry, 3 strength, 4 defense, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 3. They have armor and a sword as their basic gear. Their options are they have a war horn for 30 points, a banner for 25, an Esgaroth bow for 2 points, so that bumps them from 7 to 9. A shield or a spear are each 1 point. So if I'm running these guys, I am most likely putting an Esgaroth bow on 1/3 of the entire army, at least. I mean, as many bows as you can possibly fit in your list, and then I'm giving 1/3 of them, maybe a half of them, spears to help back up your other guys, or if their positions get overrun. Because let's face it, if you've got some really solid shooting with strength 3 bows with 24-inch range, you are going to sit back and you're going to shoot at whatever you can and dare them to charge you. And that's kind of what we're going to get into now. All right, so that's pretty much your... I'm sorry. There's one more thing you have access to, which is kind of badass. That is the Wind Lance. Everybody's seen the Wind Lance now at this point. You can have a Wind Lance in your army for 75 points. You can upgrade the Siege Veteran to an Engineer. I'm sorry. Yeah. to an engineer captain for 50 points, so that'd bump it up to 125. And you can add additional crew for 7 points each. But the wind lance is pretty awesome. I'm not going to get in the whole profile of that. You can jump over and look at that in the Army of the Hobbit book. I think it's listed under Bard, the first Bard. Yeah, it's under his profile. Anyway, so let's get to the special rules of this Army of Dale Legendary Legion. They're pretty simple. Skilled bowmen. Ever since the time of Girion, the men of Dale have been skilled archers armed with powerful Esgaroth bows. And we just talked about this. These are basically elven bows. They are fantastic bows. They have a range of 24 inches. They are strength 3 bows. I mean, they're not crossbows, but they're still really strong. So you can move half, still get your great shooting. So here's the cool thing about this army, or one of the best things about it. Captains of Dale. That's right, Captains of Dale, and all of your warriors have their shoot value improved to 3+. That is fantastic. You're essentially making a bunch of men that are 7 points base, 9 points with the Esgaroth bow, can now hit on 4+ if they moved half. That's pretty fantastic. I mean, that is really strong, and I'll tell you why in a second. All right, so Protect the King is their other special rule. As Brand leads his army into battle, those who fight with him give their lives in defense of their king should they need to. They will fight for him tooth and nail until he's dead, and that's pretty cool because friendly Dale models gain the Sworn Protector Brand special rule. Friendly Dale models. Every model on the board, if you're running this Legendary Legion, is fearless as long as Brand is alive. That's amazing. So Angmar, Black Riders, Pure Moria monsters, you fearless across the board, and that's awesome. All right, so I love that. There's designer's notes and everything. It's representing the Dale, the armies of Dale at the end of the Third Age, as the forces of the Easterlings are colliding on or coming onto Erebor. They're trying to run them out of the north and take over Erebor, so they can't help with the War of the Ring. That's kind of the story behind it. But anyway, I want to talk about some of the pros and cons of this list. I think it's a playable list. I think this army is actually pretty dangerous, up to about 600 points. So if you're wanting to play this from 300 to 600 points, I think it could be very good, like competitive good even. Some of the cons that they have, let's just go over those first. All right, so they have a limited hero selection, obviously. I mean, there's technically only 3 hero models that you have access to. 2 of them are named. Obviously, you have Brand, King of Dale, and Bard 2, the Prince of Dale. You also have just the regular Captains of Dale. But for 50 points, they're not bad. For 55, a shield. For 55, you can have them Esgaroth bow. And again, in this list, your captains are hitting on 3s, which is amazing. I mean, like, so you're getting your strength 3 bows on 3s for 55-point models with 2 might. I mean, you can do some pretty good damage with that. Actually, it's pretty solid. Here's the big caveat of this is they don't have access to any cav. I mean, there's absolutely none in the entire thing. And your highest fight is 5. I think that's kind of mitigated a little bit because all of your warriors are 5'4", and again, I already mentioned this. They're basically on par with Uruk-hai, which is pretty awesome. They're not elves at 5'5", but I mean, 5'4" is way better than average. I mean, 3 is average. I play with Moria goblins constantly. Fight value really doesn't mean that much to me because I'm usually just piling in a whole bunch of goblins, or I have like cave drakes or something, or the Balrog, and it's either horrendous fight value at 2, or it's fantastic at 6, 7 with a dragon, or 10 with the Balrog. Anyway, so back to this army. The fight value is kind of awesome actually. 5'4" is pretty solid. And I love this, and I've already mentioned this twice, but the excellent 3+ shooting with 24-inch strength 3 Esgaroth bows is pretty solid. An entire army of fearless warriors, if Brand is alive, is fantastic. I mean, that means that Dead Marsh Specters are useless against them. Anything that tries to move them with their courage, it's just simply not happening. They're essentially fearless. The Knights of Dale are great models. Again, just 11 points for something that dares you to charge it. Like, it's just like, okay, you can set back. You can even spear support your own Warriors of Dale. And in fact, that is exactly what I would do with this army. You can play it probably a couple of different ways, I guess, but I think the most efficient way that you can play this is to have a solid line of your Knights of Dale. and kind of have them kind of protected if you're fighting against other archery or other good shooting. But I would line up a bunch of my archers right behind my Knights of Dale, just right on their butts, and just dare your opponent to walk across the battlefield to come fight you, because you can outshoot anybody except for elves, and then you're going to be tied with elves essentially. Because again, 24-inch range, strength 3 bows, you're going to do some damage with that, especially being able to hit on 3+. So you park a line of your Knights of Dale and then your Warriors of Dale with your spears and shields, and you form a shield wall, and then you put the rest of your archers right behind them, and you just wait. So what you're essentially doing is like, okay, you have to run across the board to get to me. I'm going to unload on you with 3+ to hit strength 3 bows. On D6, I mean, you're still wounding on 6s, but still, you'll get some kills, most likely, if you're shooting that many across the board. I wrote up a quick 500-point list, and this is just with the 2 named heroes, so Brand and Bard. You can fit 27 warriors with Brand and Bard, and you can get 5 Knights of Dale and Brand's Warband. I got 15. This is what I did with Brand. I got Brand, just straight up, he's the leader. 5 Knights of Dale, a Warrior of Dale with a banner, spear, and shield. Warriors of Dale that all have Esgaroth bows, 4 of them. And then I have 5 more Warriors of Dale with spear shields. So that's 15 in his warband. And then I have Bard 2 as the second warband. He's got 4 Knights of Dale, 3 Dale Warriors with spear shields, 1 Warrior of Dale with just a bow, and then 4 more Esgaroth bows and spears. And that is exactly 500 points. What's cool about that is you have 9 strength 3 bows in a list. And if you took Bard out and put in a Captain of Dale at 500 points, you can actually fill up both warbands completely. So you could add another 3 Knights or whatever and still have points to spare. I mean, it's a pretty solid list. And that would give you March, But again, I don't think you need March at this point level because you're going to just set back and dare your opponent to come to you. I mean, unless you're like doing one of the scenarios where you really need to get across the board fast, so you could be hurting yourself essentially from that. But in most of the scenarios, that I think that's most likely going to be your plan, is to just sit back and wait for your opponent to come to you. And it's pretty cool because even as you're unloading on them, shooting bows across the screen or across the board, and they come into your Knights are getting that +1 to wound. Again, the reason I say that this army is probably viable up to about 600 points is this is one of those armies that doesn't have like elite heroes, because they're 5 base. So that's just on par with like the Uruk-hai heroes, which are good, but they're not great heroes. Your 5/6s and 5/7s and stuff are like your really dangerous ones, and they don't really have that much of an answer to it outside of just trying to unload bows on them. So once you get up to, you can probably take on one really solid tier 1 hero like Aragorn or a dragon or something. But once you start dealing with 2, I don't think you're going to have much of a chance with this army. I think it'll be tough. Anyway, I don't know. If you disagree with that, let me know. I mean, there's always, this is a dice game and anything can happen. I've seen some crazy stuff over the years playing it. Anyway, I like that you have access to Warhorns, banners, and Esgaroth bows. And the Wind Lance is cool too, but you're only going to be playing that if you're going to be playing higher points games. And again, I don't think that this list is all that great outside of maybe 600, 700 points. I mean, I think at 700, again, you're probably going to be running into more than one strong hero. So anyway, I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on this Legendary Legion. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's thematic. I think it's going to have, I think it'd be fun to play. Again, and one of the other little cons, you really only have access to 2 warrior profiles, and that's your basic Warriors of Dale and then your Knights of Dale. But some of the other Legendary Legions, tie in a bunch of the other stuff. Like you can get a lot of Iron Heel stuff. Then again, we'll talk about that in some of the other Legendary Legions. But that's my review of the Army of Dale. Again, I told you a little 500-point list. You guys again tell me what you think about it. I think this is a cool army. Again, thematic. I think it's cool. It's got some potential to be fun. I think you kind of have to play it that one way. The only other way you could really play it is to put Brand and a couple of captains together and just charge them across the board, and then dare your opponents to run into your spear wall, because that's essentially what you're doing with your Knights. You could have almost a whole army of elite knights and of Knights of Dale and be pretty scary. I mean, you fight 4 across the board, and they are basically holding a spear saying, "Charge me if you dare," because then you're getting that +1 bonus to wound, which is pretty solid. Anyway, the only thing I don't like about that rule is like it doesn't really work well because you don't get traps necessarily. I mean, the only way you can get traps is with heroic combats, essentially. I know it sounds weird, but when you think about it, like your opponent can't necessarily trap themselves if they charge you straight up. So you'd have to be able to wrap, in the second. So it'd be kind of, I don't know, it'd take like some not very smart playing if you charged into the knights knowing that they could wrap around you. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so yeah, I'm talking just from like a competitive perspective here. So yeah, that's the Army of Dale Legendary Legion review. This is list number 2 from the Defense of the North, and I'm going to jump on the next one soon. Thanks again for hanging out with me today. Hope you guys have a fantastic evening wherever you're at. I'm going to try to push more of these out as soon as possible. I know I keep saying that, but I mean, like, I've been on the road essentially since like November of last year. I'm a touring musician, and I'm actually just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee, in like this area called Sevierville, which is kind of like up in the mountains at this big lake. And we have a bunch of shows coming up in Virginia over the next couple of weeks, and then I'll be back in Nashville for like 6 weeks. So I'm hoping to get together with my buddy Evan, who is the Chump in the East podcast, and he hasn't put anything out in a while either. I'm gonna have to get onto him for that and get some more content out there for you guys. But anyway, please check his stuff out. Check mine out. My buddy Lee Ward is a fantastic painter. He is on Instagram. I think it's Tater the Painter. I'll make sure to put his Instagram in the title or in the description for the video here. And again, would love to know what you guys think of everything. And I hope to catch you guys in the next